I usually prefer when a touch of class is inserted into pro wrestling, but too much can be deadly. Thanks for tuning in to another special episode of Tyler Vance Rants. I am your host, Tyler Vance himself, and you're not. It's April 19th, 1985. 2 weeks ago on TNT, Hillbilly Jim provided an update on his injured leg, and it's since been further revealed that the uneducated idiot may be returning in as little as 4 months. Ricky Steamboat shared his view that the WWF is the mecca of pro wrestling, and guardian angel and pro wrestling prospect Lisa Sliwa made a fool of herself on international television. Both Vince McMahon and Lord Awful, Alfred Hayes, once more host TNT, and immediately Bobby the Brain Heenan, along with the true giant of the WWF and Big John Studd, make their way to the set for an interview. Later on in the show, Lord Awful Hayes will be demonstrating something known as high tea, and when McMahon asks whether or not the British buffoon will be inviting both Heenan and Studd, that moron replies,
I don't like tea. I don't like anything English.
Well, he's expressed a preference for not drinking tea. I don't think we ought to have him. He's an ill-mannered oaf.
I'm not a slob.
I keep well away from you.
Good, I like it that way.
That's better.
And don't even speak to me anymore.
No, I don't like tea. I'll share that with all you people out there. I don't like tea. I don't like coffee.
Finally, the topic shifts to how John Studd embarrassed Andre, the so-called giant, at WrestleMania. I've argued it for weeks. Andre didn't slam Studd, and even Bobby Heenan is backing me up.
What the people saw was an optical delusion. It didn't happen.
We haven't even seen the eighth wonder of the world since he embarrassed himself in front of millions watching worldwide on March 31st when he failed to slam the true giant of the WWF and Big John Studd. And Vince McMahon's claim of the Frenchman being on vacation is just another McMahon fabrication. So what's next for Big John Studd now that he's climbed the hill that was Andre the so-called giant?
Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania, the big thing in wrestling today, the world champion.
Neither Bobby the Brain Heenan nor Big John Studd need the moronic masses behind them like Hulk Hogan does. So when it comes time to face off for the WWF Championship, from bell to bell, they will all witness the massacre of Hulkamania.
Thank you very much for joining us, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
How do you know I'm done?
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
What the hell was that? From the absolutely idiotic behavior from Vince McMahon with his moronic line of questioning to the outright vulgar behavior demonstrated by Lord Awful Alfred Hayes, I can start to see why TNT was eventually cancelled. Moondog, Spot, and his manager, Mr. Fuji, are the next guests to be interviewed on TNT. And it's a good thing that the Moondog brought his manager with him, considering he can only communicate in feral barks.
Speak. Ruff, ruff.
Down, dog, down.
Lord Awful Alfred Hayes continues to be a completely ignorant clown as he complains that there is a pungent aroma permeating the TNT set.
That is Louisiana swamp cologne.
Speaking of Louisiana swamps, that's where Mr. Fuji has both Moondog, Rex, and Spot train against the likes of
A lot of paramus.
I beg your pardon? Paramus?
I fight with a lot of alligator.
Alligators?
Snaky.
Snakies.
Vince McMahon's attention is then drawn towards the bone that Moondog Spot has been gnawing on for most of the interview. And even Mr. Fuji himself reveals he's not sure whether or not it belongs to an animal or a human. So, Lord Hayes, you better mind your manners around the Moondogs, lest your femur be on their menu next. The Moondogs demonstrate just how dangerous they can be in tag team action next as they team up against Jim Powers and Mohammed Saad. A mixture of brutality, cunning, and strength ensures that both Rex and Spot stay on top of both Powers and Saad throughout the entire match, with Spot easily getting the win following a diving elbow on Mohammed Saad. Back in the TNT studio, Mr. Fuji reveals that while both Moondog, Rex, and Spot usually make him happy, if they do end up disappointing him,
Once in a while, so I put him in camp now. Concentration camp. Fuji camp in Louisiana swamp.
The British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid, are the next guests to be interviewed on TNT. And considering the cousins have been teaming together all throughout the United Kingdom and Europe for at least 7 years, their careers have gained the attention of none other than Queen Elizabeth II. Both Smith and the Kid have ambitions of becoming the WWF Tag Team Champions one day, dethroning the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. They plan to use their mixture of agility, power, and speed to maintain an advantage and overthrow any kind of strategy that the champions may employ. Since they're both from the United Kingdom and have the teeth to prove it, both the British Bulldogs are allowed to join Lord Awful Alfred Hayes for high tea, who also has a special on-demand butler which has been provided by the British Embassy.
Hey, what you doing?
No.
Hey,
What's the matter, you? What's the matter, you?
please control yourself. And that animal, isn't it exciting?
Wait a minute.
I told you it would be. Oh, gosh.
Never in my 40 years have I seen something so degrading.
No.
Wait. And then what is this?
That is
This
stuffed
is
chip.
cheap China. It is not Japanese China.
No, it's
that
English
is
China.
turbo tit. Eat it all I'm gonna get it.
I'm really beginning to understand why TNT was cancelled. High class? That was pathetic. You should be ashamed to call yourself a subject of Her Majesty Stuart the Butler. And Lord Awful Alfred Hayes, don't get me started on how you should be convicted of treason for such a shameful display. To ensure that the circus goes out with a bang, the next clown to arrive on TNT is Pat Patterson, the very same goof that tried to steal Muhammad Ali's spotlight by being one of 2 special guest referees at WrestleMania during the main event, with Ali being the second. To put the cherry on top of the crap cake that was, Patterson insisted that he be the man inside the ring while the legendary boxer was relegated to the outside as an enforcer. Despicable. Even more disgraceful is the fact that Pat Patterson then chooses to discuss Cowboy Bob Orton's injury, stating that while he had the cast on during the WrestleMania main event, Ace is now subject to a conspiracy where inside that cast,
I don't really believe that his arm is really hurt that much. But it's been about 2-3 months now since he had the cast. Give me a break. I'm sure he's using that as a foreign object.
that's libel. If I were Bob Orton, I would be on the phone right now with my lawyer and put an end to Pat Patterson's career, not with a bang inside the ring, but with a whimper inside the court of law, because that's all that scumbag deserves. Thanks for tuning in to another special episode of Tyler Vance Rants. Don't forget to hit the bell, like the video, and subscribe because you deserve the best in pro wrestling content. You can also follow me on social media, where it is 1985 in pro wrestling all over again. That's all for now. So long. Lord Awful Alfred Hayes, who reveals that he's the one who sends her regular updates regarding the Bulldogs' success.